Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and congratulations, graduates. I'm Sandro Galea. I think I know all of you, but I have the privilege of serving as Dean of the School of Public Health. It is wonderful to have so many of you here today for what is always one of the best days of the academic year. It's also a bittersweet day. Bittersweet in that our excitement at wishing you, our graduates, well is tempered by the sadness of seeing you go. And bittersweet at this uniquely challenging moment as the pandemic rages and we mourn its mounting toll. Facing this challenge, it is all the more special to be able to share today with you to wish you well. Before I say a few words, I would like to say thank you to those who made today possible. In particular, thank you to Mary Murphy Phillips, Pagani Price Oriemi, and the Graduate Student Life team, and a thank you to Alicia Noel, who all made sure that today is smooth running well. I would like to special thanks to the ones who made all of you, our graduates, possible, your families, many of whom are on this call. Your success is their success, and they should be very proud. If we were in person right now, I would ask you to turn around and to thank, to applaud your family and friends. So congratulations, not just to our graduates, but also to families and friends. That we are connecting on a screen rather than in a room reflects the difficult circumstances of this unique year. The COVID-19 crisis has forced us to adapt to a new normal. This new normal has prevented us from gathering in person. Yet, the ties of community are in many ways stronger than ever. Over the last 10 months, we have worked together to address the challenges we face. As a school and as a field, we have helped lead the fight not just against the virus, but against the socioeconomic challenges that worsen it. The mission of public health is to prevent disease by addressing the conditions that allow it to take hold. The story of COVID-19 is the story of those conditions. What began as a narrative about a novel virus has become a story about racism, poverty, the marginalization of older adults, everything that makes society sicker. We are now at a point where we can turn the story towards the changes that shape a healthier world. We are at a transitional moment in both our politics and our engagement with the virus. The emergence of vaccines has put the end of the pandemic in sight. There is still a long road ahead, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. We have also seen a political sea change. The Biden-Harris administration has committed to the effective distribution of vaccines and has embraced an approach to health which prioritizes marginalized communities, bringing help to those who most need it. These changes mark a welcome pivot towards the kind of leadership which can support a better day for health. But federal leadership, important as it is, cannot end this crisis alone. Throughout the pandemic, it has been community which has made the fundamental difference. It has been friends, neighbors, colleagues working together to meet the challenge of this moment. As members of the SPH community, you have supported each other, providing compassion and care. This has allowed us to work as a community towards the goal of better health. Not just the goal of ending the pandemic, but laying the foundations for a healthier world. This work begins with the community you have embraced and helped sustain during your time at SPH. I have a 14-year-old daughter, through whom I have learned of the existence of TikTok. This knowledge has led me to know of the viral phenomenon of sea shanties. For those who do not know, apparently sea shanties are huge on TikTok right now. Now, this feels appropriate as I have long thought this COVID moment is like being on a ship going through a storm. The winds have howled, the seas have roiled, the rain has lashed the decks. The ship's captain, our political leadership, has largely failed us, and we have struggled to maintain our course. We are now tasked with righting the ship, navigating through the rest of the storm, and being better prepared for the next one. I would say that this is the responsibility you, as graduates, are about to assume. But the truth is, you have already assumed it. You have had to grow up faster than any public health cohort in recent memory. This is because of the pandemic, but it's also because of the structural inequity exposed in recent years. During your time at the school, we have seen how threats like racism, climate change, inequality, gun violence, and other such challenges make us sick. Since day one at our school, you have been engaging with these challenges, and you have helped make the world healthier. Today, you are tasked with continuing this work at a time of unprecedented challenge and unprecedented opportunity. As you embark on this task, I would like to take a moment to share with you 3 secrets we only tell public health graduates. They may not come as a surprise to you, given all you have already learned and experienced. However, as first principles to be remembered, I think they will serve you well. First, health is more than healthcare. In the US, when we are talking about health, we often talk about healthcare, doctors and medicines. But doctors and medicines care for us when we are sick. Health is the state of not being sick to begin with. Not being sick to begin with means living in a world that generates health, which we currently do not. In this country, we spend more on healthcare than any other country in the world, but this has not prevented us from largely failing on COVID-19. This is because we do not invest in improving the conditions that shape health. The pandemic has elevated the role of these conditions in the public debate. Your job is to continue to help shape a national consensus around health, which prioritizes these conditions, building on the lessons of the pandemic. Second, public health has a hard job, and the best path of action to promote the health of the public is often complicated. This was made clear by the pandemic, where basic public health measures like mask wearing became matters of controversy. It became clear by the disagreements you have seen in the country around how best to approach the virus, and disagreements you have seen in our very school about the right approach to difficult questions. As public health professionals, your job is to help shape the directions that shape our health. That action depends on many inputs. This needs to mean direct participation in making hard decisions, doing so guided by logic, reason, and data, with respect for a multiplicity of voices aiming to find the best step forward. This argues for an appreciation of nuance, complexity, and careful weighing of trade-offs, sometimes in impossibly difficult circumstances. Do not listen to anyone who tells you the right path is easy or straightforward. It never is. It is your job to help find the right path, balancing worlds, and that is hard. And finally, secret number 3, story matters. I have said that when we think about health, we are often actually thinking of healthcare. That's because this is the story we tell ourselves about health. To change our collective thinking, we need to communicate data, yes, but we also need to tell a new story. It is a story about the full range of forces that shape health. It is a story about climate change, race, politics, history. It is a story which at times causes us to face uncomfortable truths. Yet, it is a story we must tell, you must tell, if we are to be healthier. So here is to your story, to how far you have come, and to all the places you will go next. Once more, congratulations. Thank you for having spent the last few years of your lives with us. Thank you for what you have done and for all that you will do to build a healthier world for all of us. Thank you and congratulations. Now, it's my great pleasure to turn this over to our Dean of Education, Dean Lisa Sullivan, who has been the architect of what you have learned and whose lessons you're going to take with you for the rest of your life. Dean Sullivan.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of our graduates. Completing a graduate degree is a tremendous accomplishment, and finishing this year even more so. The world needs you more than ever, and we know you are ready. I wish you all the very best in the next stage of your public health journey, wherever that may take you. You are and always will be part of the BUSPH community, and we can't wait to see what you do. And now let us get to recognizing each and every one of you. It is my distinct privilege to call each of your names one by one. Rana Aboris. Omobalamle Adams. Ogechi Odungupu. Joy Ajama. Chanel Badoni. Juliana Barunis. Aga Bereshniska. Harvleen Butal. Avni Bhatnagar. Flannery Black Ingersoll Delta Omega. Seema Boardbach. Stephanie Boss. Talia Buxbaum. Lindsay Butler. Grace Marie Carey. Kate Conquest. Rachel Curry. Bradley Davis. Prabhavi Denagamaji. Maggie Diwali. Brianna Driscoll. Jesse Dubin, Delta Omega. Shelby Dunkel. Kara Eisenberg. Charles Hill Estabrook. Daniela Liddy Exantus. Emma Fitzel Jones. Kaylin Fredrickson. Claire Galvin. Kate Garrison. Michaela Gillis. Michael Glassman. Aboli Gogari. Nicholas Griffiths, Delta Omega. Alyssa Garrett. Abhinaya Gunasekar. Felicia Haycoop. Kendall Hightower. Hannah Hoke, Delta Omega. Hannah Homeland. Shelby Ingrick, Delta Omega. Danique Jerry. Emerald Johnson. Maria Carolina Jordan Pozo, Delta Omega. Danielle Kampler. Sinead Keogh, Delta Omega. Kayleen Kirkwood. Paige Lambert. Samantha Lodano. Renee LeClaire. Helen Lee. Taryn Lippener. Elizabeth Long. Emily Lydell. Devin McEachern. Hannah Mallock. Amy McInerney. Mira Perrin McLean. Aisha Mederata. Cynthia Nira Miguel. Kirsten Moffett, Delta Omega. Ure Nanubu. Alyssa Nolan. Allison Nolan. Lauren Olson. Nisha Puri. Sarah Purvis, Delta Omega. Michaela Eve Royer. Mohamed Salagar. Osha Salah. Julia Sachs. Lauren Schmidt. Dominique Sale. Aisha Shaw. Shenjia Shi. Stephanie Marie Simeon. Ruby Singh. Montgomery Smith. Samantha Stone. Madison Sullivan. Aidana Tashitova. Jasenia Uria. Connor Walton. Bilkis Omashalewa Williams. Patrick Williams. Hanka Yank. Andrea Yasupatham. And the Master of Science in Applied Biostatistics, Shuihan Hu. Master of Science in Epidemiology, Andrea Demarche. Master of Science in Health Services and Systems Research, Chelsea Marie McGuire, Delta Omega. And completing a Doctorate of Philosophy in Epidemiology, Tali Cassidy. And completing a Doctor of Philosophy in Health Services Research, Kerry Brady. Erica Lynn Crable, Delta Omega. Kevin Griffith. And last but not least, Eric A. Jones. Congratulations to all of you.
Congratulations to everybody. Congratulations. Really, really, it's wonderful to see everybody's pictures, some right now and some is your childhood pictures. I very much look forward to a day when you'll come back and visit us when we're back in person so we can actually see each other again, congratulate you in person. So as you graduate, you join our alumni community. And we wanted to make sure that for this virtual graduation, you actually heard from some of our alumni, from some members of the community that you are now joining. So I would like to introduce you to Gary Cohen. Gary is a graduate of the School of Public Health in 2006. He's a member of the Dean's Advisory Board. He's also the chairperson of our school's public health entrepreneurship incubator, the Idea Hub. This year, Gary also co-chairs our SPH 45 Public Health Now is the Time, which is our initiative throughout 2021 to elevate the public health conversation as part of the school's 45th anniversary celebration. As a member of the Dean's Advisory Board, I have had the privilege of getting to know Gary, and I really would consider my good fortune to call Gary a friend. Gary, over to you.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Sandro. I'm really honored to be joining this afternoon's January graduation celebration and to welcome School of Public Health students to a very special lifelong association, Boston University School of Public Health alumni. Congratulations. As you all know, there's only one way into this honorable group. Lots of study, endless hours of dedication, and a commitment to making a difference for the health of all. As a member of the Dean's Advisory Board, as chairperson, as Dean Galea mentioned, of our school's entrepreneurship incubator, the Idea Hub, and with pride as a fellow alumnus, I'm delighted to congratulate you and welcome you as School of Public Health graduates. As Dean Galea mentioned, I'm a 2006 graduate of the school's MPH program. My role today really is to introduce the alumni speaker, my 2006 classmate, Robin Sterling Eckerling. It's a really easy assignment to list Robin's many accomplishments. Right now, she's Allscripts Chief Privacy and Security Counsel. She served as Chief Privacy Officer for a huge and hugely influential company. As an attorney, she's done great work for her large international law firm clients, particularly in the healthcare area. She's worked for the United States Department of Health and Human Services in the important Office of Inspector General. As Robin's classmate and old friend, none of her accomplishments actually surprise me. Like all of you today, Robin gained knowledge and skill and commitment to the health of all here at Boston University. And no doubt, like you will too, Robin has used her education effectively with purpose and to great success. I'd like to close this introduction with a personal reminiscence of Robin. I began my own MPH studies in 2003, was 17 years after I had completed law school. Like most of you, biostatistics and epidemiology were among my first courses, but I had taken a science or computation course in 26 years, actually. I was charitably an older student when I came to BU, and I was anxious. Robin was among the first classmates I met at Boston University. Maybe we bonded because we both are lawyers. Perhaps we connected within the Center for Health Law, Ethics, and Human Rights, where Robin became an academic fellow. You know, I think that at the time, Robin and I thought that the coolest students were studying health law anyway. Whatever the reason, Robin and I became friends, and she encouraged me through that biostatistics course. Lisa Sullivan, you helped, no question, and epidemiology and all the other coursework, and she made it more fun for me to be a student here. In normal circumstances, if we were sitting together in an auditorium, I'd invite you to look around the room, to look at your fellow classmates and today graduates. but these aren't normal circumstances, as you all too well understand. And so I encourage you to reflect on your time at SPH. Who amongst your classmates encouraged you through your studies? Who made being a public health student more interesting for you? Who made this experience more fun? You're about to become alumni of this amazing institution. Who amongst your classmates is your Robin Sterling Eckerling? Who are, for them, who are you, that special classmate? It is my honor to introduce today's alumni speaker, my classmate and old friend, Robin Sterling Eckerling.
Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Thank you to Boston University School of Public Health, Dean Galea, Alumni Relations, Dean's Office, Student Services, and the countless others who have made today possible. And a very special thank you to Gary Cohen for not only taking the time to introduce me, but for being a friend, classmate, and someone that I've looked up to and admired for the past 16 plus years. Thank you. I am thrilled, honored, and humbled to be part of today's graduation. I wish we all could have been together to celebrate in person, but thankfully through technology, we have found a way to celebrate. Congratulations to each and every one of you. You have dedicated yourself to a noble profession and community that seeks to improve and better humankind, even in the face of adversity. You are entering the public health community at one of the most important times in history, arguably the most, where the basic premise of what we stand for as a community to improve health is being challenged and called into question. There has never been a more important time to think, teach, do. The fact that we are here today, even virtually, shows your resilience and perseverance to advocate for what is right in this world. For the past 45 years, the Boston University School of Public Health has taught, mentored, and turned out some of the brightest minds in public health. Today, you are joining a distinguished public health community that is over 10,000 strong, not only locally, but nationally and internationally as well. This does not even include the full Boston University network of distinguished alumni whose ranks you join today. In fact, if it weren't for the Boston University alumni community, I can safely say that I would not be in the position that I am today. So please know when I say these things, they are not meant to be contrite sayings. They are truly based on my personal and continued experiences. I often tell people that BUSPH was the warm embrace that I so desperately needed after making my way through law school while my mother successfully battled non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was not only what I learned in the classrooms that was so pivotal in growing my career, it was my interactions with my professors and classmates. I have so many stories about my time at BU, but sometimes it's the little memories that are so vivid. Everything from spending a Valentine's Day with Professor Wendy Mariner, who generously sacrificed the evening with her husband because I did not have a Valentine, to learning to play poker with Professor Leonard Glantz, and then, the more serious memories of Dr. Michael Grodin's tireless advocacy for torture survivors. It's the little things that remind me to this day of how much time each professor would take to connect with students and serve as an inspiration through their intelligence, humility, and kindness. When Gary and I attended, our department was called the Health Law, Bioethics, and Human Rights Department. Each and every professor, George Annis, Wendy Mariner, Leonard Glantz, Michael Grodin, and Winnie Roche, they were all inspiring and filled me with a level of confidence that I so sorely lacked after law school. And for the record, to this day, I still aspire to be more like Wendy Mariner. But all kidding aside, I really do owe my career to the people that have walked the BUSPH halls. Believe it or not, my first job out of law school was because of a BUSPH career fair and an alum who happened to work for the federal government. We knew each other casually from school, but essentially he vouched for me. And also a takeaway from that is be nice. You never know where your next opportunity will come or even who you can open a door for in the future. But I do want to share one story that I think is a fun anecdote, but it also demonstrates the dedication to BUSPH students even after we leave the four walls of this institution. For those who do not know retired Professor Leonard Glantz, he and his wife are skilled and avid poker players. So hang on to that important piece of information for just 1 minute. I had been working for the federal government for 2 years, again, thanks BUSPH, but I was looking to move home to Chicago and work for a law firm. And it just so happened I had a last-minute interview coming up. And I asked Professor Glantz if he would help me with some last-minute interview prep. He told me that unfortunately he and his wife would be in Las Vegas for a poker tournament. But wouldn't you know it, I actually was going to be in Las Vegas with some friends. Now, I just want you to know I am not a Las Vegas regular. I am not a stellar poker player. But if this isn't dedication to students, I don't know what is. Professor Glantz met me in one of the casino lounges and prepped me for an hour. I can unequivocally say that the very reason that I got the job was because of the time he spent with me. I was prepared for every question that was thrown at me and then some. It also did help that the lawyer who interviewed me was actually a BU law grad as well. So while Leonard and BU helped me get my foot in the door, of course, the rest of the hard work was up to me. But I drew on the skills that I learned here at BUSPH. I learned from our professors how to build people up and how to support them. And my little secret is that as a lawyer, I can actually hold my own talking about numbers, thanks to Dean Lisa Sullivan. But today, you are joining a community that has been steadily building over the past 45 years and has grown strong and purposeful in its direction under Dean Galea. Over the past 45 years, BUSPH and the alumni community has always been there for one another, and we need each other now more than ever. Congratulations to each and every one of you on your accomplishment. Welcome to the Boston University School of Public Health alumni community. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Robin. That is wonderful. Not for the parents who are here, not all our professors spend that much time in Las Vegas, but the ones that do are fantastic at looking after students. Thank you, Robin. It's now my great privilege to introduce Dr. David Satcher. Dr. Satcher was a 4-star admiral in the United States Public Health Service Commission Corps. He also served as the 10th Assistant Secretary for Health, as well as the 16th Surgeon General of the United States. Dr. Satcher had agreed to be our commencement speaker in person. And of course, with COVID, everything changed, but we asked Dr. Satcher to send a few remarks for our new graduates.
I'm Dr. David Satcher, 16th U.S. Surgeon General, former CDC Director, and founding director and senior advisor for the Satcher Health Leadership Institute at the Morehouse School of Medicine in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm delighted to be able to join you on this your very special day. You should certainly know that we look forward to your joining the ranks of public health leadership and to your future leadership role throughout this country and the world. You know, a former president of Morehouse College, Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, used to like to say, I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. It was forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, and yet it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, and yet eternity is in it. Dr. Mays called this God's minute. We need leaders who care enough. We need leaders who know enough. We need leaders who have the courage to do enough, and leaders who will persevere until the job is done. So congratulations to you on this your very special day, and know that we look forward to working with you.
Thank you to Dr. Satcher for his remarks, and we are very much looking forward to hosting Dr. Satcher in person when we do our next commencement in person. And now it's my great privilege to turn this over to our wonderful Dean of Practice, Dean Craig Andrade, We have a tradition in our graduations where we have a call to service, which really invites our graduates into a life of service in public health. Dean Andrade. You're on mute, Craig.
Thank you, Dean Galea. My dear colleagues, let me say that one more time because it's official now. My dear colleagues, when you started your journey at BU School of Public Health as students, we asked you to take an oath. We asked you to share in our mission to improve the health of local, national, and international populations, particularly the disadvantaged, underserved, and vulnerable. Today is your graduation, a celebration of what you've accomplished. And I look at each of your faces, I imagine them across the country and across the world, and I feel deeply proud of all you have done, all that you have learned here. But today is also a new orientation to your next role in the BU School of Public Health community as alumni and as leaders. We no longer expect you to live this oath as students in a classroom, but as public health action figures in the world, tackling injustice and creating space for the voices that have been silenced or pushed to the margins. We still have much to learn together. There are so many questions left to be answered as the consequences of COVID continue to ripple across society. So many questions left to be answered in the wake of continued pervasive racism in our country. So many questions. But look at your screen, look around and imagine all of your colleagues who are graduating today. I have hope for the future because we will be doing this together. We can together find the answers. Congratulations. I can't wait to see all the awesome ways you change the world.
Thank you, Craig. As we close out the evening, we wanted to do a toast to our graduates. We are in a moment where we are facing what happens when we do not do right by the conditions that matter for health in this country. Yet we are also able to imagine a future when we never again face such a failure. And the reason is all of you. You are the generation that can and must fix this. No pressure. The task may seem daunting, but you are up to it. You are more than up to it. I know I echo the feelings of everybody in our community, our staff, our faculty, our students right now, our alumni, and all our friends, when I say, I very much look forward to living in the world that you helped create. All of you, congratulations, cheers. Really, really, it's been a privilege to be part of your journey, and we cannot wait to see what you do next. Congratulations.